The British Empire, the biggest empire ever, the empire that helped collapse the longest-lasting empire, was started on an island, grew to the whole world, making it so the sun never set. Before we start, what is an empire? I mean, Google says it's an extensive group of states or countries ruled by a single monarch. And some people will say that it's a country that has control of others. But in my opinion, there are two types of empires. Once I spoke to a teacher about history, and he said an empire is what it considers itself. That means that an empire is an empire if it says it is. And the other description is what Google says. To understand how Britain is an empire, we very quickly have to check when it was an empire.
Queen and I are very...
England had been triumphing when it came to colonies, instead Scotland was not. Since Elizabeth I died, they had the same king and queen. So, as England was going well with colonies, Scotland wasn't, they united Britain in the year 1707. Of course, there was many other reasons, but this is one. In 1708, after the Spanish Succession War, Britain got many new colonies, including Minorca and Gibraltar. And the empire grew. War after war after war. And it grew and grew more and more. It was enormous. The biggest empire in history. Until in 1931, the countries started to get independence. And to make stuff worse, in 1939 the Second World War started, and Germany completely destroyed Britain. Even though yes, Britain won, but after, Britain was not only poor, it was no longer the focus of the world, we used to say in the USSR were. Slowly, Britain lost their colonies.
Major buildings in Kuala Lumpur have been given a facelift before the celebrations marking the independence of the Federation of Malaya.
The world has gained a new nation. The Sudan, for 58 years under the joint rule of Britain and Egypt, becomes an independent republic.
Colombo, the capital of Ceylon, was in festive mood on Parliament opening day.
Fiji, a British colony for nearly 100 years, is now independent.
And eventually, the lost colony got independent. But when Britain started to see this, they created the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth has no binding authority over its members, but it provides a forum to discuss political, social and economic issues. Political consultation, development initiatives, people-to-people connection, trade and economy collaboration, environmental and sustainable efforts. And the head of it, well, the British Crown. Of course, it doesn't have to be the British Crown, but it's getting chosen to be the British Crown. And some countries even have the British King as their king. The Commonwealth realms they are. And they are Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Jamaica, Papua New Guinea, Solomon Island, Tuvalu, Belize, Saint Lucia, Saint Vincent de Grenadines, Antigua and Barbuda, the Bahamas, Barbados, Grenada, Saint Kitts and Nevis. Let's go back to the description of an empire, an extended group of states or countries ruled over by a single monarch. The last emperor of the United Kingdom was George VI. George VI was born on December 14, 1895, and the second son of King George V. the emperor with the most territory in history, and Queen Mary. Initially not expected to become king, he was brought up in the shadow of his elder brother, Edward VIII. George served in the Royal Navy during World War I and then took on royal duties, representing his father on various official occasions. The unexpected abdication of his brother, King Edward VIII, in 1936 due to his desire to marry Wallis Simpson resulted in George VI becoming king. George VI passed away on February 6, 1952 at the age of 56 due to lung cancer. His daughter, Princess Elizabeth, ascended to the throne as Queen Elizabeth II. George VI's reign was a period of significant change and challenges, but he was mostly remembered his effort during wartime and his role in steadiness the monarchy during tumultuous periods. By the time Elizabeth became queen, the British Empire was falling. Former colonies were getting independent. The term empire was no longer effective of the political landscape, and the territories under the British Crown were evolving into independent nations with the Commonwealth. So the final question is it an empire? Well, that all depends. If you consider that an empire as a country with territories far away from the mainland, then yes. If you consider an empire as an extensive group of states or countries that have the same monarch, yes. If you consider that an empire is a group of states or countries ruled by the same monarch, not really, because Charles has no power in the Commonwealth. He's just the leader. But then we realize Britain still has colonies. One left. Gibraltar. In 1713, the Treaty of Utrecht was signed. It made it so Spain ceded several territories to other European powers. For instance, Gibraltar and Minorca was given to Britain, Sicily to the Duke of Savoy, and parts of Spain, Netherlands and Italy were ceded to Austria. Minorca and Gibraltar are both very important places or territories. They're in the Mediterranean, and mostly Gibraltar was in the beginning of it. In 1802, by the Treaty of Amiens, Minorca returned to Spain. At the time the islands were being handed over, a ship appeared in the port of Mahon, carrying an urgent dispatch from London, ordering the British governor not to surrender the island. Well, that didn't go well. Spain tried to take over Gibraltar again, but failed over and over again, and during the Franco dictatorship, he thought of taking it over, even speaking with the German patriot Mussolini about it. But he said no, because then he would have had to join World War II, and Spain couldn't risk it at the time. Spain was destroyed after their own civil war. There was even voting to see if Gibraltar wanted to be part of Spain, but the people wanted to stay in the United Kingdom. Kind of normal, knowing that at the time, if it had become part of Spain, it would be in a horrible fascist dictatorship. A new constitution order was approved in the referendum in 2006, which moved Gibraltar to a more crown dependency-like relationship with the UK rather than the previous colonial status. The new constitution came into effect in January 2007. Gibraltar is classified as a British overseas territory. However, the UN considers that it's a territory that still needs to be decolonized. Oh, and Gibraltar isn't the only one. Falkland Islands and the British Virgin Islands are three territories that the UN thinks Britain should decolonize. The British Empire fell long ago, but some colonies remain stuck.
Bonbon, bonbon, chocolat mousse, bonbon, bonbon. Bonjour, mitt namn är Bon. Ja, det är det. Så gott det ser ut.